You shouldn't have come.
I should have come sooner.
The city of Liverpool looked beautiful from the top of Kingstone Tower, but Damien Keller felt nothing as he stared across the city through the rain-covered glass walls of his office.
People always leave. So I stopped needing them.
Skyline glittered with wealth and ambition, yet silence followed him like a curse. Newspapers called him ruthless. Competitors called him dangerous. Employees feared his footsteps. Damien preferred it that way. At 39, he had spent years building an empire powerful enough to make politicians nervous and billionaires jealous. Luxury hotels, construction projects, investment firms, everything he touched became profitable. But success had turned him cold. His assistant nervously entered the office. The board meeting begins in 10 minutes. Damien did not turn around. Then why are you still standing here? The man immediately left. Moments later, Damien's younger sister Ava entered without permission, carrying coffee. You scared another employee. That's not my problem. Ava sighed. You know, normal people smile occasionally. I'm not interested in being normal. She placed the coffee on his desk and looked at him carefully. You haven't been sleeping again. Damien ignored her. Ava was the only person who still spoke to him honestly. Since losing their mother as children, they had survived the cruelty of their father together. But while Ava chose kindness, Damien chose control. Neither of them realized their lives were about to change forever. Sophia Graham arrived at Kingstone Foundation carrying a folder against her chest while wind blew through the busy Chicago streets. She almost turned back twice. Working for Damien Keller was considered professional suicide by many people. Stories about his temper filled business magazines constantly. But Sophia needed this job. Her father's medical debts had nearly destroyed her financially, and after his death 6 months earlier, she was desperate for stability. The foundation's lobby buzzed with tension when she entered. Employees whispered nervously. Mr. Keller fired 2 executives yesterday. He made someone cry during the meeting. Sophia quietly continued toward the elevator. She had survived worse than difficult men. When she finally entered Damien's office for the first time, he barely looked up from his tablet. You're late. It's exactly 9. In this building, early is on time. Sophia calmly set down her files. And respect costs nothing. Damien finally looked at her. Most people avoided eye contact around him. Sophia didn't. Something unreadable flickered in his expression before disappearing instantly. Sit down, he said. The interview lasted only 12 minutes. By the end of it, Damien already disliked how calm she made him feel. Sophia quickly realized the foundation was drowning in corruption. Missing financial reports. Unapproved transactions. Employees terrified to speak honestly. Yet beneath the chaos, she noticed something strange. Damien himself seemed disconnected from the problems. One evening, she stayed late organizing documents when Ava appeared carrying takeout food. You're the first employee who hasn't quit within a week. Sophia laughed softly. Is that supposed to encourage me? Ava smiled. Actually, yes. They ate together while discussing the foundation. He wasn't always like this, Ava admitted quietly. Damien? He used to care more. Sophia found that hard to imagine. Still, something about Damien felt less cruel than broken. That same night, Sophia discovered several suspicious transactions hidden inside old charity accounts. Millions of dollars had disappeared. Before she could investigate further, footsteps approached behind her. She turned sharply. Damien stood in the doorway. You're still here. So are you. Their eyes locked in silence. And for reasons neither understood, the room suddenly felt smaller. Over the following weeks, Sophia slowly transformed the atmosphere inside the foundation. Employees smiled more. Projects became organized. Families who depended on charity support finally received help on time. Damien noticed everything despite pretending not to. One afternoon, he overheard employees praising Sophia. She actually listens. She treats people like humans. The comments irritated him. Yet he could not deny results. Later that evening, Damien found Sophia on the rooftop terrace reviewing paperwork beneath city lights. "You work too much," he said. Sophia looked surprised. "That sounds hypocritical." Damien almost smiled. Almost. The wind moved through her dark hair as she studied him carefully. "Why do you push everyone away?" she asked suddenly. "Because people leave eventually." The honesty shocked both of them. Sophia softened slightly. "Not everyone." Damien immediately looked away. For the first time in years, someone's presence disturbed the walls around his heart. Victoria Sullivan returned to Chicago during the company's annual gala. Elegant, intelligent, and dangerously manipulative, she had once been engaged to Damien before their relationship collapsed under ambition and pride. When she noticed Sophia standing beside Ava during the event, jealousy sparked instantly. "So that's the new favorite employee?" Victoria asked Damien. "She works for the foundation." Victoria smirked. "You're defensive." "I'm busy." But Victoria saw the truth before Damien admitted it to himself. Sophia mattered. Meanwhile, Sophia continued uncovering financial inconsistencies connected to senior executives inside the company. Late that night, she received an anonymous message. "Stop investigating." Her stomach tightened. A second message followed. "You have no idea who you're protecting." Fear crawled into her chest, but she refused to back down. She didn't realize someone was already watching her. Damien's attraction towards Sophia became impossible to ignore. He noticed the way she comforted frightened employees. The way she quietly paid for lunch deliveries when interns worked overtime. The sadness hidden beneath her smile whenever conversations became personal. One stormy evening, the power temporarily failed inside the building. Sophia stood near the window holding a flashlight while thunder rolled outside. "You hate storms?" Damien asked. "My mother died during one." The vulnerability in her voice silenced him. For several seconds, neither spoke. Then Damien surprised himself. "My father used to lock me outside during storms when I was a child." Sophia looked at him gently. "That must have been terrifying." Damien swallowed hard. Nobody had ever responded to his pain with softness before. In that moment, something shifted between them forever. The next morning, Sophia discovered hidden documents connected to Damien's late father. Illegal property seizures. Bribery. Families destroyed to expand the Keller empire. Sophia felt sick reading everything. Worse still, the missing charity money seemed connected to those old crimes. Someone inside the company was hiding decades of corruption. That afternoon, Sophia attempted warning Damien. "We need to talk privately." "I'm busy." "This is serious." Damien barely glanced at her. "Then send an email." Frustration flashed across Sophia's face. "You really don't know how to trust people, do you? And you care too much." Their argument ended abruptly when Victoria entered the office smiling. Sophia quietly walked away. Damien watched her leave. For reasons he didn't understand, guilt followed him the rest of the day. Ava's health worsened unexpectedly. She collapsed during a charity event, frightening everyone. At the hospital, Damien paced anxiously while doctors examined her. Sophia arrived moments later carrying Ava's belongings. "You came." "Of course I did." Damien looked exhausted for the first time in years. Sophia gently touched his arm. She's going to be okay. The contact sent warmth through him. Hours later, Ava finally regained consciousness. You both look terrible, she joked weakly. Relief filled the room. As Sophia prepared to leave, Damien stopped her near the hallway. Thank you. The sincerity in his voice stunned her. You don't say that often. No. Their eyes held each other longer than necessary. For one dangerous moment, the world around them disappeared. Victoria grew increasingly suspicious of Sophia. She secretly hired someone to investigate her background. What she discovered shocked her. Sophia's father had once attempted exposing corruption connected to Keller Industries years earlier. He died shortly after. Victoria immediately realized the information could destroy Damien emotionally. Instead of warning him honestly, she twisted the truth. She's been using you from the beginning, Victoria whispered during dinner. Damien frowned. Explain. Her father hated your family. Damien's expression darkened. Meanwhile, Sophia received another anonymous threat. This time it included photographs of Ava leaving the hospital. Protect him or she suffers. Fear overwhelmed Sophia completely. Someone was willing to hurt innocent people. And Damien still had no idea how dangerous the situation had become. Late one night, Damien found Sophia crying quietly inside the empty conference room. The sight disturbed him deeply. What happened? Nothing. That's obviously a lie. Sophia quickly wiped her tears. Do you ever get tired of pretending you don't care? Damien stepped closer slowly. All the time. The honesty between them became unbearable. Sophia looked at him with heartbreak and longing mixed together. Without thinking, Damien reached for her. Their kiss was slow, emotional, and terrifyingly real. Years of loneliness crashed together in one moment. For the first time in a very long time, Damien felt human again. But outside the conference room, someone silently watched everything. And the danger surrounding them was only beginning. The morning after the kiss, Damien could not concentrate. Every meeting felt meaningless. Every contract sounded empty. All he could think about was Sophia. Meanwhile, Sophia tried convincing herself the kiss had changed nothing. But her heart betrayed her constantly. Later that day, she discovered that important financial files had vanished from her office. Security footage from the previous night was erased. Panic spread through her. Someone inside the company was actively covering their tracks. Before she could react, Damien stormed into her office holding printed financial reports. Why are unauthorized transfers linked to your account? Sophia stared in shock. What? You heard me. Realization struck instantly. She was being framed. Damien's anger exploded during the confrontation. Tell me the truth. I'm trying to protect you. By stealing from my company. I didn't steal anything. But doubt poisoned his judgment. Victoria's warnings echoed in his mind. Sophia's connection to his father's scandals suddenly seemed suspicious. You lied about investigating my company. Because I was trying to expose the people hurting you. Damien's voice turned cold. You expect me to believe that? Sophia's eyes filled with pain. No. I expected you to trust me. The silence afterward felt devastating. Finally Damien spoke. You're fired. Sophia looked shattered. Still, she lifted her chin proudly. One day you'll regret this. Then she walked away. Damien watched her leave. And for the first time in years, victory felt like failure. 3 days later, Sophia disappeared. Her apartment was empty. Her phone disconnected. No forwarding address. Nothing. At first Damien forced himself not to care. She made her choice, he told Ava. But Ava looked furious. No. You made it for her. That night Damien wandered through the empty foundation office and noticed small details Sophia had left behind. Sticky notes encouraging employees. Children's drawings from charity events. Handwritten reminders about Ava's medication. Sophia had quietly cared for everyone. Including him. For the first time, guilt entered Damien's heart like poison. Weeks passed. Damien became increasingly restless. He stopped attending social events. Stopped sleeping properly. The penthouse felt colder every night. Then one evening, Ava handed him a folder. What is this? Proof Sophia was innocent. Inside were hidden emails revealing senior executives manipulating foundation accounts. Sophia had been trying to expose them all along. Damien felt physically sick. Ava stared at him angrily. She protected you while you destroyed her. That sentence broke something inside him. For the first time in years, Damien cried after Ava left. Quietly. Alone. An envelope appeared beneath Damien's penthouse door late that night. Inside was a photograph of Sophia entering a coastal train station. Beneath it was a typed message. She disappeared because she was protecting you. Another line followed. The next target is Ava. Fear slammed into Damien instantly. He immediately increased security around his sister. Then he launched a private investigation into everyone connected to the company's missing funds. The deeper he searched, the uglier the truth became. Senior executives had been laundering millions through fake charity accounts for years. And someone close to him had helped orchestrate everything. Victoria. Damien confronted Victoria inside her luxury apartment. You lied to me. Victoria remained calm. About what? Everything. She slowly smiled. You always needed someone to blame. Rage filled him. You framed Sophia. She was becoming dangerous. Damien grabbed her arm. Where is she? Victoria's expression darkened. You only care now because she left. That's not true. It is. Her words cut deeply because part of him feared they were correct. Victoria finally pulled away. You ignored her until someone else threatened to take her from you. Damien left without another word. But guilt consumed him harder than ever. Sophia hid in a small coastal town several states away. The elderly couple sheltering her treated her like family. Still, fear followed her constantly. She missed Chicago. Missed Ava. And despite everything, she missed Damien most of all. Late one evening, she stood near the ocean watching crashing waves while tears filled her eyes. You love him, the elderly woman said gently. Sophia nodded weakly. But loving someone doesn't always mean staying. For months she had sacrificed her happiness trying to protect Damien from corruption connected to his family. Now she wasn't even sure he hated her or simply never cared. Then she noticed a black car parked near the house. Someone had found her. Back in Chicago, Damien uncovered more evidence proving Sophia had secretly protected the company from public collapse multiple times. Every revelation made him feel worse. She paid employee salaries herself, he asked in disbelief. Ava nodded. Without telling anyone. Damien closed his eyes painfully. How had he failed to see her value so completely? That night he stared at Sophia's abandoned office for hours. Then he made a decision. He would find her. No matter how long it took. Months passed during Damien's relentless search. He traveled constantly following weak leads. The media began noticing changes in him. The ruthless billionaire suddenly avoided parties and public attention. Employees whispered about how different he seemed. More patient. less cruel. One evening, Ava quietly smiled while watching him help Foundation volunteers prepare donations. She changed you. Damien looked down silently. No, he admitted softly. She showed me who I was becoming. A breakthrough finally arrived. A private investigator traced Sophia to the coastal town. Damien drove through the night without stopping. Rain pounded against the windshield as anxiety tightened his chest. By the time he reached the house near dawn, armed men were already approaching the property. Everything happened fast. Glass shattered. Sophia screamed. Damien fought with desperate fury unlike anything he had ever felt before. Not for business. Not for power. For her. When the attackers finally fled, Damien turned towards Sophia. She stared at him through tears and shock. You shouldn't have come. Damien's voice broke. I should have come sooner. Sophia could barely process seeing Damien standing inside the small coastal house. Bruised. Soaked from rain. Breathing heavily. For months she imagined this moment differently. Angrier. Colder. Instead she saw regret written across his face. The elderly couple quietly left them alone. Silence filled the room. Finally Damien spoke. I know the truth. Sophia looked away painfully. Too late. I was wrong. Those words shocked her more than the attack itself. Damien Keller never apologized. Yet now his voice carried genuine remorse. I failed you, he admitted. Sophia's eyes filled with tears again. And I still loved you anyway. The confession shattered the final wall between them. Damien stayed in the coastal town for several days helping local authorities investigate the attack. During that time, he and Sophia slowly reopened emotional wounds they had both tried hiding. One evening they sat together beside the ocean. I spent my whole life believing people leave eventually, Damien admitted. And I spent mine trying to make people stay. The honesty between them became healing. Sophia finally revealed everything she discovered about his father's crimes. Families displaced illegally. Witnesses silenced through money. Executives still profiting from those old secrets. Damien listened quietly. I hated my father for years, he whispered. But somehow I still became him. Sophia touched his hand gently. No. You became someone afraid of becoming him. Back in Chicago, Victoria realized Damien had found Sophia. Panic spread through her. If Sophia publicly revealed the evidence, everything would collapse. Victoria secretly contacted the remaining executives involved in the corruption network. We need leverage. What kind? Her expression darkened. Ava. Ava noticed suspicious vehicles following her after leaving the hospital. Fear immediately returned. She called Damien. I think someone's watching me. Damien's entire body tensed. Stay where you are. He and Sophia immediately returned to Chicago. For the first time, they worked together openly. No walls. No lies. Only trust. And their connection deepened because of it. Late one night, Sophia found Damien alone inside his office staring at childhood photographs. My mother used to tell me storms eventually pass, he said quietly. What happened to her? She left because she couldn't survive my father anymore. Sophia stepped closer. You were just a child. Damien looked at her painfully. Children still blame themselves. Sophia wrapped her arms around him. And for the first time in his adult life, Damien allowed himself to be comforted. Together they prepared evidence exposing the executives publicly. But before the files could be released, Ava disappeared. Her car was found abandoned near the hospital parking garage. Sophia immediately blamed herself. They're doing this because of me. No, Damien said firmly. They're doing this because evil people fear exposure. But inside, terror consumed him. Ava was all he had left. And losing her would destroy him completely. Victoria arranged a secret meeting with Damien. She's alive, Victoria said calmly. Damien nearly attacked her. Where is my sister? You'll get her back if Sophia disappears permanently. Rage exploded inside him. You're insane. Victoria's voice turned emotional. I loved you. No. You loved control. For the first time, Victoria realized she had truly lost him. And desperation made her even more dangerous. Sophia refused to stay hidden while Ava remained missing. She personally tracked financial records connected to the kidnappers. During the investigation, she discovered another shocking truth. One of Damien's trusted senior advisors had secretly orchestrated the corruption network from the beginning. Not for money alone. Revenge. Years earlier, Damien's father destroyed the man's family business illegally. Now he wanted the Keller empire destroyed from within. Damien confronted the advisor during a stormy night inside an unfinished construction site. You ruined innocent lives, the man shouted. My father did. And you benefited from it. The accusation hit painfully because it was true. Damien spent years protecting an empire built partly through cruelty. But now he finally understood something important. Acknowledging inherited damage was not weakness. Ignoring it was. A violent confrontation erupted. Damien rescued Ava moments before the building partially collapsed. Sophia arrived just in time to help them escape. Police arrested several executives connected to the conspiracy. But Victoria disappeared before authorities reached her. The nightmare wasn't over yet. Ava recovered slowly at home while Damien remained constantly protective. You can stop hovering, she joked weakly. No. Sophia smiled watching them together. For the first time, the Keller penthouse felt warm instead of empty. Still, Damien carried heavy guilt about the company's past. One evening he confessed his fears to Sophia. What if people never forgive me? Sophia looked at him gently. Then spend your life becoming someone worth forgiving anyway. The media exploded when corruption details leaked publicly. Investors panicked. Stock prices dropped. Reporters surrounded Kingstone Tower constantly. Board members pressured Damien to deny everything. Instead, he shocked everyone. During a televised press conference, Damien admitted the truth openly. My company benefited from unethical actions for years, he said firmly. And I refuse to hide from that reality anymore. The honesty stunned the nation. Some called him foolish. Others called him brave. Sophia simply looked proud. Victoria secretly watched the press conference from a hotel room. Hatred consumed her. Damien choosing honesty over power felt like betrayal to her. She blamed Sophia for changing him. And she wanted revenge. One evening, Sophia was followed after leaving the foundation. Before she could react, Victoria confronted her inside a parking garage. You ruined everything. Sophia remained calm despite fear. No. You did. Victoria's eyes filled with tears and fury. He used to need me. He never needed manipulation. The confrontation ended when security arrived, forcing Victoria to flee again. But Sophia realized the danger still wasn't finished. Damien decided to completely restructure the company. Employee support programs expanded. Corrupt executives were removed. Scholarships and housing programs were created for families harmed by old Keller business practices. For the first time, the empire stood for something meaningful. Employees slowly stopped fearing Damien. Some even respected him. Sophia and Damien finally allowed themselves happiness. They cooked dinner together. Walked anonymously through Chicago at night. Laughed over small things. Moments Damien once considered pointless now became precious. One snowy evening, Sophia looked at him softly. "You're smiling more." Damien kissed her forehead. "That's your fault." But peace shattered again when Victoria kidnapped Sophia during a charity gala. The message she left behind terrified Damien. "Now you understand what losing someone feels like." Panic consumed him completely. For hours he searched desperately across the city. Every second without Sophia felt unbearable. Victoria held Sophia inside an abandoned lakeside property once owned by Damien's father. "You changed him," Victoria said bitterly. "No," Sophia replied calmly. "He changed because he finally faced himself." Victoria looked broken rather than evil suddenly. "All I ever wanted was to matter to someone." Sophia's heart ached hearing it. Because loneliness had destroyed all of them differently. Damien tracked the location through old property records. The final confrontation unfolded during another violent storm. Rain crashed against windows while emotions exploded inside the abandoned house. Victoria pointed a gun with trembling hands. "I loved you." Damien stepped forward slowly. "No. You wanted ownership." Tears streamed down Victoria's face. For one tragic moment, she looked like someone destroyed by her own emptiness. Then she lowered the weapon. Police arrived moments later. The nightmare finally ended. After Victoria's arrest, silence returned gradually. Sophia sat beside Damien on the rooftop terrace watching sunrise over Chicago. "We survived," she whispered. Damien held her hand tightly. "Because you never gave up on me." Sophia smiled softly. "You finally stopped giving up on yourself." For the first time in his life, Damien believed healing might actually be possible. Months passed. The company stabilized slowly. Public trust returned little by little. Meanwhile, Damien continued changing in ways that surprised everyone around him. He personally visited foundation projects. Listened during meetings. Even apologized when wrong. Employees were convinced someone had replaced him. Ava's health improved steadily. One afternoon she laughed while watching Damien struggle to cook. "Sophia really performed miracles with you." Damien smirked. "I was never that bad." Ava nearly choked laughing. The apartment now carried warmth instead of tension. Family dinners became regular. Music filled rooms once consumed by silence. Sophia noticed Damien looking peaceful more often. And nothing made her happier. Still, Damien struggled privately with guilt. Late at night, memories of his father haunted him. The cruelty. The fear. The years spent becoming emotionally numb. One evening Sophia found him sitting alone in darkness. "You can't keep punishing yourself forever." "What if I deserve it?" Sophia gently touched his face. "Then let your future become your apology." Her words stayed with him permanently. Sophia finally visited her father's grave for the first time since returning to Chicago. Damien accompanied her quietly. He believed powerful people never change, Sophia admitted. Damien looked down painfully. He was probably right most of the time. Sophia squeezed his hand. But not this time. The wind moved softly through the cemetery as peace slowly settled over both of them. The foundation launched a national housing initiative using company profits. Families once ignored by the system finally received support. Reporters praised the transformation publicly. But Damien cared less about headlines now. What mattered was seeing real people helped. Sophia watched him during a community event one afternoon while children surrounded him laughing. The ruthless king truly was gone. In his place stood a man finally learning compassion. One evening Damien brought Sophia to the rooftop garden where they first shared honest conversation months earlier. Chicago lights shimmered beneath them. "I used to think power meant controlling everything," Damien admitted. "And now I think strength means loving people without fear." Sophia's eyes filled with emotion. Damien slowly knelt. "Sophia Graham, will you marry me?" Tears immediately streamed down her face. Yes. Wedding preparations brought unexpected joy into their lives. Ava enthusiastically took control of decorations. Employees argued playfully over invitations. For the first time, Kingstone Tower felt filled with happiness instead of pressure. Damien sometimes stopped during meetings simply to stare at Sophia in disbelief. "How are you real?" he whispered once. Sophia laughed softly. "You're becoming dramatic." "I blame love." Before the wedding, Damien made one final public announcement. He established a permanent compensation fund for families harmed by historic Keller business practices. Some advisors warned the decision would cost billions. Damien didn't care. For years he believed wealth existed to protect him. Now he understood responsibility mattered more. On the night before the wedding, Damien stood alone near the penthouse window watching rain fall across Chicago. Storms no longer frightened him. Not because life became easy, but because he was no longer facing it alone. Sophia quietly joined him. Nervous, she teased. Terrified. She smiled warmly. "Good. That means it matters." Damien wrapped his arms around her slowly. "You saved me." Sophia shook her head. "No. I loved you while you learned to save yourself." Their wedding took place beside the lake at sunset. Simple. Elegant. Real. Ava cried through almost the entire ceremony. Damien held Sophia's hands while emotion overwhelmed him completely. Years earlier he believed love made people weak. Now he realized love had been the only thing strong enough to heal him. As they kissed beneath golden evening light, applause surrounded them. And for the first time in his life, Damien Keller felt truly free.